Something happened at Brown's minicamp that completely changed the energy around the quarterback competition, and it wasn't some viral touchdown throw or dramatic sideline moment designed for social media. What shocked people was the growing difference between two quarterbacks supposedly fighting for the exact same opportunity. One looked calm, prepared, and fully in command of the offense. The other suddenly looked like the pressure of the moment was starting to speed everything up mentally. Coming into camp, many fans believed this battle would stay close for weeks. Some even thought Dillon Gabriel had the early advantage because of experience and familiarity within the system. But after what reporters and people inside the building reportedly witnessed during this session, the entire conversation around the Browns' quarterback room shifted almost instantly. Suddenly, fans weren't asking whether Shedeur Sanders belonged in the competition anymore. They started asking whether the Browns may have quietly found their QB1 already. And the craziest part, Shedeur didn't need a flashy highlight reel to change the narrative. The calmness alone may have said everything. But once practice officially started, the signs became impossible to ignore. Before a single difficult throw was even attempted during Brown's mini-camp, the coaching staff may have already revealed exactly how they feel about this quarterback competition without needing to say a word publicly. Because in the NFL, coaches usually tell the truth through reps. Who gets first-team opportunities matters. Who steps into the huddle with starters matters. And according to reports from camp, Shedeur Sanders was working with the first-team offense almost immediately. He was reportedly taking snaps in front of the coaching staff while everybody watched closely. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel spent large stretches working behind the second unit, waiting for his opportunities. To casual fans, that may not sound like a huge deal, but inside NFL buildings, those details speak volumes. Teams can publicly claim competitions are wide open all they want, but practice structure often tells the real story behind closed doors. Coaches do not accidentally hand meaningful first-team reps to quarterbacks they don't trust, especially during evaluation periods where every snap gets studied in detail. And according to reactions coming out afterward, people noticed the difference instantly. What made the situation even more interesting was how natural Shedeur reportedly looked operating the offense from the beginning. Observers said there wasn't visible panic before the snap. Players got lined up quickly. Communication looked smooth. The offense reportedly moved with rhythm and tempo. That matters because coaches evaluate much more than arm talent during camp sessions. They study body language, command of the huddle, leadership, timing, communication, whether teammates naturally respond to a quarterback's energy. Reports coming out of mini-camp suggested Shedeur checked a lot of those boxes early. Meanwhile, fans online immediately started connecting dots. Some Browns supporters speculated that the new coaching structure may be far more performance-driven than previous staffs. Others claimed the rep distribution itself suggested the organization already feels more comfortable with Shedeur leading the offense. None of that has been officially confirmed, of course, but perception moves fast during quarterback battles, and once passing drills officially started, things reportedly became even more difficult for Dillon Gabriel. Because this was supposed to be the moment he settled everybody down. Instead, the conversation exploded in the opposite direction. Once 7-on-7 drills began, this should have been the ideal environment for Dillon Gabriel to settle into rhythm and regain momentum inside the competition. These drills are designed to help quarterbacks operate comfortably. There's less chaos than full-speed team periods. Reads are cleaner. Timing routes become easier to execute. Coaches want to see decisiveness and confidence in these moments. But according to reports and reactions coming out afterward, Gabriel's performance reportedly did the exact opposite of calming concerns. The stat line alone immediately grabbed attention. 3 completions on 6 attempts with 2 interceptions. In any quarterback battle, those numbers raise eyebrows quickly, but what reportedly worried observers most wasn't just the mistakes themselves. It was how the mistakes happened. Several people reacting to practice described the throws as hesitant and lacking conviction. Some passes reportedly floated into coverage without enough velocity, which becomes extremely dangerous at the NFL level. Defensive backs close windows instantly. If a quarterback delivers the ball late or uncertainly, tight window throws suddenly become turnover opportunities. And fans online immediately locked onto one word, repeatedly showing up in discussions: hesitation. That's what intensified the conversation. According to reactions from camp, Gabriel reportedly looked fine mechanically before the snap. He scanned defenses, adjusted his feet, seemed mentally prepared. But once it came time to attack windows confidently, something reportedly looked off. The conviction just didn't appear fully there. NFL coaches notice that immediately. Quarterback play at this level depends heavily on decisiveness. Coaches can tolerate aggressive mistakes. What becomes dangerous is uncertainty. Once hesitation creeps into a quarterback's mechanics, entire offenses start slowing down mentally. Fans quickly started debating what could be causing the issue. Some speculated Gabriel may still be adjusting to NFL speed and timing. Others suggested losing early first-team reps may have already started affecting his confidence. A few even wondered whether the massive attention surrounding Shedeur Sanders was beginning to impact the competition psychologically. Of course, those are simply fan theories and online speculation, not confirmed facts. But the intensity of the reaction showed how dramatic the contrast reportedly looked in person. Because while Gabriel's day reportedly became shakier as practice continued, Shedeur Sanders apparently looked completely unaffected by the pressure nearby. And that contrast soon became impossible for people inside the building to ignore. What surprised people most about Brown's mini camp wasn't some unbelievable throw from Shedeur Sanders. It was how normal everything reportedly looked around him. And ironically, that's exactly why it stood out so much. While pressure around the quarterback competition continued building throughout practice, Shedeur reportedly maintained the same calm rhythm from start to finish. Observers described the offense looking organized whenever he stepped into the huddle. The ball reportedly came out on time. His footwork appeared controlled. There wasn't much wasted movement before snaps. Even when plays weren't perfect, panic reportedly never crept into his mechanics. That matters far more than casual fans realize. NFL offenses are built on timing, structure, and trust. Coaches obsess over whether quarterbacks can keep offenses stable under pressure. When players see a quarterback delivering calls confidently, controlling tempo, and operating calmly, the entire unit usually responds differently. According to reactions coming out afterward, that calmness became one of the biggest differences between the two quarterbacks during practice. Some fans online even compared it to the early stages of veteran quarterbacks earning trust internally. Not because Shedeur already looks like a proven NFL star, that would obviously be premature, but because command and leadership traits often reveal themselves long before preseason games even begin. Quarterback battles are rarely decided purely by arm strength. Coaches study who teammates naturally follow. They watch who keeps practices organized. They notice who speeds up mentally when pressure rises and who stays composed. Right now, many fans believe Shedeur is quietly separating himself in those exact areas. And the scary part for the rest of the quarterback room is that he reportedly looked like somebody expecting to succeed. That confidence allegedly showed up in drills, conversations after plays, and even during interactions after practice ended. Fans online immediately started discussing how different his energy felt compared to the uncertainty surrounding the rest of the room. Some supporters even argued this is exactly why NFL teams value leadership traits so heavily at quarterback. Arm talent matters, but stability under pressure matters just as much. And once momentum begins building around one quarterback internally, opportunities tend to grow quickly. That's why many observers believe this competition may already be shifting faster than expected. Because once coaches trust somebody with meaningful reps, and consistent responsibility, the race can accelerate rapidly behind closed doors. Unfortunately for Dillon Gabriel, what happened after practice may have intensified the pressure surrounding him even more. As rough as Dillon Gabriel's on-field session reportedly looked, what happened after practice may have created an even bigger problem for him publicly. Because once the microphones came out and reporters started asking questions about preparation, fans suddenly began questioning what he had actually been doing behind the scenes this offseason. NFL quarterbacks understand that press conferences matter, especially during competitions. Fans listen carefully for confidence. Coaches pay attention to accountability. Reporters search for clues about preparation and leadership. Sometimes one strong interview can calm concerns after a rough practice. But according to reactions online, Gabriel's answers reportedly had the opposite effect. One of the biggest discussion points came when he was asked about his off-season preparation and learning the offense. Instead of giving detailed responses about film study habits, adjustments within the playbook, or specific areas he focused on improving, fans felt many of his answers sounded broad and non-specific. Now, to be fair, vague answers alone do not prove anything. Nobody outside the building truly knows how much work Gabriel put in during the off-season. But perception becomes extremely important in quarterback battles, especially when it follows a rough practice performance. Fans were already nervous about what they reportedly saw on the field, so when the press conference didn't calm those concerns, online speculation spread rapidly. At the same time, Shedeur reportedly sounded far more direct and detailed while discussing his own preparation. He reportedly spoke about learning concepts, understanding timing within the offense, and focusing on specific parts of his development. That contrast quickly became another major discussion point online. And this is where NFL narratives start snowballing. Quarterbacks are expected to sound prepared. Fans want conviction. Coaches want ownership. So when one player appears composed and specific, while another sounds uncertain or overly general, people naturally begin drawing conclusions. Some fans claimed Gabriel sounded overwhelmed by the moment. Others speculated the coaching staff may already see similar concerns internally. Again, those are online opinions and rumors, not confirmed facts. But once those perceptions start building during camp, they become extremely difficult to reverse. Suddenly, people weren't just analyzing throws anymore. They started questioning whether the Browns' coaching staff may already know exactly which direction this competition is heading behind closed doors. And once that idea entered the conversation, the debate surrounding the quarterback room completely exploded across social media. Because many fans now believe this battle may not be nearly as close as people originally thought. As reactions from mini-camp kept spreading online, the conversation around the Browns' quarterback room became much bigger than one rough practice session. Fans started debating whether this competition had quietly been tilting toward Shedeur for a while already. Over the last several months, some Browns supporters believed previous organizational decisions may have artificially kept Dillon Gabriel heavily involved in the conversation regardless of momentum swings happening behind the scenes. Whether those claims were fair or exaggerated, the perception definitely existed online. Now, with the current coaching setup in place, many observers think the energy feels completely different. The biggest reason: the rep distribution reportedly looked brutally straightforward. There didn't appear to be much effort to protect optics or force the competition to seem artificially balanced. According to reports from camp, Shedeur received meaningful first-team opportunities and looked increasingly comfortable handling them. Meanwhile, Gabriel reportedly appeared to be fighting uphill throughout large portions of practice. That immediately led many fans to speculate that the current coaching staff may simply be rewarding whichever quarterback looks most prepared in real time. And honestly, that possibility completely changed the tone of the debate online. Because if this competition is now purely performance-based, every mistake suddenly matters more. Every hesitation matters more. Every press conference answer matters more. Fans started realizing there may not be organizational protection keeping the race artificially close anymore. Some supporters even pointed toward coaching philosophy itself. NFL staffs constantly say they want quarterbacks to earn trust through preparation, decisiveness, leadership, and command of the offense. Reports coming out of mini-camp suggested Shedeur was already checking several of those boxes internally. And that's not something coaching staffs hand out casually. If coaches trust a quarterback with meaningful first-team reps during early camp sessions, it usually means they already feel comfortable with his ability to manage the offense mentally. Once that trust begins forming internally, opportunities tend to grow quickly. Meanwhile, Gabriel's rough session reportedly created a dangerous narrative at the worst possible time. Because once fans begin viewing a quarterback as somebody losing confidence, every future mistake gets magnified. Every incompletion starts feeling like confirmation of the narrative people already believe. Right now, many observers think Shedeur Sanders may already have internal momentum inside the building. But the craziest part is that training camp hasn't even fully started yet, and that's where quarterback battles can completely explode overnight. What's happening around the Browns' quarterback room no longer feels like a quiet off-season battle flying under the radar. Every single throw is getting clipped online. Every interview answer becomes a debate across social media. Every rep distribution turns into a full-blown argument between fans, and that kind of spotlight creates enormous pressure, especially for younger quarterbacks still trying to settle into an NFL environment. For Dillon Gabriel, the challenge now reportedly becomes mental just as much as physical. Quarterback is one of the few positions in sports where confidence directly affects almost everything. Footwork changes when hesitation creeps in. Timing changes when players start doubting reads. Even routine throws become harder once quarterbacks feel every mistake getting magnified publicly. That's why fans reacted so strongly to this practice session. It wasn't just the interceptions themselves. It was the growing feeling that pressure may already be building around Gabriel much earlier than expected. And once narratives start forming during camp, they can become incredibly difficult to reverse. Now every future practice will be viewed through this exact lens. If Gabriel struggles again, fans will immediately point back to mini-camp as the warning sign. If Shedeur continues looking composed, people will argue the competition is basically over already. Fair or unfair, that's simply how NFL quarterback battles work. Momentum changes how every rep gets interpreted moving forward. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders suddenly finds himself in an extremely powerful position. Reports suggest the coaching staff already trust him enough to operate meaningful reps with the first-team offense. If he keeps stacking strong practices together, belief inside the building could grow rapidly. And coaches value consistency more than almost anything at quarterback. They want somebody who keeps the offense stable every single day, somebody who processes pressure calmly, somebody teammates naturally trust in difficult situations. Right now, many observers believe Shedeur is beginning to establish exactly that type of internal confidence within the organization. But what makes this entire situation even crazier is that the real pressure may still be coming. Because mini-camp headlines are one thing. Training camp and preseason games are where quarterback battles can truly change careers overnight. Mini-camp alone does not officially decide NFL quarterback jobs. One explosive preseason performance can completely reshape a competition overnight. One great week of practice can shift momentum instantly. But what happened during this Browns session still felt important because it reportedly gave people their clearest glimpse yet into how the coaching staff may truly view these quarterbacks internally. And according to reactions coming out afterward, many observers believe they witnessed two quarterbacks moving in completely opposite directions at the exact same moment. One appeared increasingly comfortable, carrying the responsibility of leading the offense. The other reportedly looked like he was trying to stop the competition from slipping away under mounting pressure. That's why this situation exploded online so quickly. Quarterback battles are rarely decided by one stat line or one throw. They're decided by trust, preparation, leadership, body language. Coaches constantly study who controls the huddle, who communicates clearly, and who keeps the offense functioning smoothly when pressure rises. According to reports from mini-camp, many fans believe Shedeur Sanders quietly made a major statement in all of those areas, without needing some unbelievable viral highlight to do it. And honestly, that might be the most impressive part of the entire situation. The loudest statement from practice may have been how ordinary and composed everything looked around him. No panic, no forcing throws, no emotional overreactions, just steady operation of the offense while chaos built around the competition itself. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel now enters training camp facing an entirely different level of scrutiny. Every throw from this point forward will be heavily analyzed. Fans will watch for confidence. Coaches will watch for growth. And the spotlight surrounding this battle just became significantly more intense after what happened during mini-camp. Of course, none of this officially ends the quarterback race. The NFL changes fast. Narratives flip constantly. But if the trends from this practice continue into training camp and preseason action, fans may eventually look back at this exact moment as the day the Browns quietly realized they may already have their answer at quarterback. And honestly, that possibility alone is why the entire NFL world suddenly started paying attention. At the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from Browns mini-camp wasn't one unbelievable throw or some viral highlight designed for social media. It was the growing separation many people believe they witnessed between two quarterbacks facing the exact same opportunity. One reportedly looked calm, prepared, and increasingly comfortable carrying the weight of the offense. The other suddenly looked like the pressure of the competition may already be starting to affect him mentally. And that's why this situation has fans talking non-stop right now. Because quarterback battles are rarely decided publicly at first. Usually, the shift happens quietly behind closed doors. Coaches begin trusting one player more. Teammates start responding differently in the huddle. The offense feels smoother. The energy changes before the official announcement ever arrives. According to reactions coming out of mini-camp, many people believe Shedeur Sanders may already be creating that kind of momentum internally. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel now faces enormous pressure heading into training camp, fair or unfair. Every throw he makes from this point forward is going to be analyzed heavily. Fans will watch for confidence. Coaches will watch for growth. And the spotlight surrounding this quarterback race just became much heavier. Of course, there's still a lot of football left before anything becomes official. One strong preseason game can flip narratives overnight. One rough practice can change momentum instantly. That's simply the reality of the NFL. But if the trends from mini-camp continue, fans may eventually look back at this exact practice as the day the Browns coaching staff quietly began believing they already had their QB1.